Today we have a very special guest star for you, a man that you've seen many, many times on your screen. In fact, he worked in one of my first Westerns. So what do you say, let's all get together and make a great big welcome to Kirk Alyn, Superman.
Hi, Sunset.
How you doing, Kirk?
Oh, fine. Gee, it's good to see you again.
It's great to see you.
And you said a long time ago. It doesn't seem like a long time ago.
No, it doesn't.
Now that I look at you, it just seems like yesterday. Isn't it wonderful?
Remember the time you stole my horse on the first picture?
You shouldn't have met. Well,
yeah, that was before Superman.
I became a good guy after that.
That's
yes.
right. Sit down, Kirk.
Yeah.
Hey, great. What's been happening since we was together out in Republic? Tell me a little bit about it.
Oh, my goodness. I went to, after we did that, I did a couple more at Republic, and of course Uncle Sam got me, you see.
Yeah.
And I went into the Navy. I came back out, and wouldn't you know it, I went right back to Republic. And you know, while I was at Republic, they remembered that I had done things with you and Bill Elliott, and they said, how would you like to be with a studio, Kirk? I said, well, what do I do? He says, we'll make a cowboy out of you. We'll do 8 pictures a year. I said, wait a minute. I said, I don't ride horses. You know, I said, I won't get on a horse for you. I said, because I'm afraid of horses, and horses don't like me. They, you know, and I thought of all kinds of things. He said, hey, listen, we'll send you out to the stables, and there's a guy out there that'll teach you how to ride a horse, and you'll ride just as good as any one of these cowboys we got on the lot. I said, well, I don't know about that. I have to talk to my agency. Well, in the meantime, I did some television Westerns, you know, like Canny Oakley. I did many of those. And again, when I went for the interview, they said, great, well, we start shooting tomorrow or the day after, whatever it was. And I said to him, now wait a minute, before we get started, I don't have to ride a horse in this, I hope, because I don't ride horses. He says, oh no, Kirk, you don't have to ride horses. We got doubles, and we'll have use doubles on this, and they talked me into it, and I said, oh, well, okay, that'll be fine. So I got out on location, and he says, so I'd like you to do this running insert. I said, running insert? I said, I don't even know how to get on a horse. I said, you know, gee, I said, well, no. I said, not me. I said, I told them I wasn't going to ride a horse, and they said I didn't have to. I said, put a double. I said, but I can't use a double. I got to see your face. So after a lot of talking, the director was very nice to me. He says, we've got a horse that's, he's trained, he's camera-wise, and he's a wonderful horse. He does anything. He's a great horse. And he says, all you have to do is brace your feet and hold onto the reins, and believe me, when you're riding real fast, it's easier to ride a horse that way than it is if you're galloping. So he talked and talked and talked, and he talked me into it. So they got down there with the truck, and as the truck came right up alongside the horse, I didn't have to kick the horse. The horse went off. He was trained. He was like, oh, wonderful horse. So I'm riding along like this, you know. It is easier to ride. I'm braced with my feet, you know, real tight. And as we're going along, the director keeps talking to me. He says, that's great, Kirk. Now look scared. I said, I am scared. You know, I am. So because the guy is shooting at me, you know, he's following me. So then finally he says, now look back a little bit. So I looked back a little bit, and we get way down to the end of the road. You know, it's about a mile long. So we get down to the end of the road. He says, oh, Kirk, you did great. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. Cut! And when he said cut, that horse stopped immediately on his front feet. And it's a good thing I was braced, because it lifted me out of the saddle and over his head. And I landed on the ground in front of it. I got up and I was going to hit the horse. I said, well, it's not his fault. I says, no more riding. I said, I told you I didn't ride horses. That was great. That's the last time I ever rode a horse. I'm not going to ride no horses anymore. And I love them. I mean, you know, from watching them, and I like horse races and all, but not to get on one. Not me. Oh,
that is fantastic, Kirk.
You were terrific, though. I used to admire the way you handled horses, and the way you handled a bullwhip while you handled the horses at the same time. It was great.
Oh, but those were wonderful days back then.
They were fun days. Because, anyway, so you know, I originally came from New York. See, I came out here, I did about 8 or 10 or 12 Broadway shows. I did 3 shows with Imogene Coca. And I worked nightclubs. I did a nightclub show with Billy DeWolf. And this was how I got to California, I'll tell you. I was doing a nightclub show at the Versailles with Billy the Wolf, and that lasted, let's see, January, February, March, April, four months. And during the time that I did that show, I had a part on Portia Faces Life on radio, NBC. So our last show was at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, it ended at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, I had a girlfriend, and sort of, you know, and we had to go out and have a bite to eat afterwards, and then I'd go home and try to catch a little nap before I went to NBC at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I didn't get much sleep. This went on for several weeks, you know, and I began to get weaker and skinnier and everything. And I thought to myself, I better stop this or I'm not going to be in this business very long. So I asked them to get another boy for Portia Faces Life, because when that show closes, I'm going to California. And when I go to California, I'm just going to lie on that beach and that's in the sunshine, and I'm not going to tell anybody where I am for a month, a whole month. So I got myself packed real quick, and out to California I went, and I checked into a hotel on Sunset Boulevard. I paid him for 1 month like I thought I was going to do, and I was going to get ready to go to the beach. So I said, well, I think I'll call an old friend of mine. He's a good pal of mine. We were in vaudeville, and we did a show in St. Louis, and I got on the phone and I called him. That was Red Skelton.
Red Skelton.
And he lived out in Tarzan at the time. So I said, hi, Red. He says, where are you? I says, I'm down in Hollywood. What are you doing there? I said, checked into a hotel. You checked into a hotel? You're a fine friend, you are. He says, you come out here and stay with me. He says, I'm going to send a car right down. I said, but I already paid the man for a whole month. He won't give me my money back. He says, well, forget it. So anyway.
See, we got a jet going over.
Oh, yeah. He drives. Yeah, he's kind of slow, isn't he? Huh?
Hey, don't do anything.
No,
don't do anything.
Oh, it's a good thing you mentioned. I was just getting ready. Yeah. So Red sent the car down for me, and I went to the man and explained my problem. He says, oh, that's no problem at all. He took out the money and gave me the month's rent back. And I said, in Hollywood?
He gave you months back?
He gave me my money back that I paid him for the whole month, you know. So I went out and lived with Red. Now, Red was making a picture at MGM at the time. And one day he says to me, I'm going to bring a little girl home that's working on a picture with me, and she's very cute. He says, yeah, I'll introduce you to her. He says, you'll like her. So he did. He got this little girl to come home, and I liked her. She was kind of cute. She was a singer, and she was under contract to MGM. And she and I went out, and we went on dates, and we did, you know, various things, what people do, you know. And I got to like her pretty much. So after a little while, I married her, never thinking that I was going back to New York, you see, and she was under contract to MGM, and she couldn't go back to New York, to New York with me. So there I was. So I thought, so what am I going to do now? So I got myself an agent, and I thought, well, so long as I'm in California, I may as well make the best of it, see. So I'll see if I can get a job in a picture. And so the first studio my agent took me to was Republic. And they looked at me and they said, yeah. I told them my experience, my background. And he says, well, something comes up that looks like you, Kirk, why, we'll be glad to call you. I went home, and that very same night they called me, because there was a guy they were going out on location with a Bill Elliott picture, and this fellow that was supposed to play the lead in that is the romantic lead, he got an acute appendicitis, and they rushed him to the hospital. So they said to me, he looks just like you, Kirk, and the size will be just perfect. You can wear the clothes. You don't have to worry about a thing. Are you a quick study? And by quick study, that meant to me about 50 sides, you know. 50 sides is 50 pages of dialogue. Well, I did this in stock, and I did it on Broadway, so it was nothing to me. I said, well, if it's not more than 50 sides, I'll learn it by morning. He said, oh, no, we only mean the 2 or 3 pages. I said, oh, that. I said, 2 or 3 pages, sure. So I got out there, and I did the show, and I came back. They didn't let me get off the lot, and that's when I worked with you. You're the second one I did on the lot, and I thought, yeah, this was a lot of fun. Though I enjoyed working with you because you're a fun guy to work with.
We had a lot of fun working on that picture.
Yeah. You're a fun guy to work with. Anyway, I think I made 2 or 3 more pictures at Republic, and then I got into service. I got into the Navy. So Uncle Sam had first priority on me then. But when I came back out of the Navy, the first studio I went to was Republic. I said, "Hey, I'm back," you know. So I did some more pictures. I did more pictures, and you know, it's very funny. Jack Mathis in Chicago is a very good friend of mine, and he bought up all of the stuff from Republic, and he's writing a book. When he writes a book, it's this size. And it sells for, I think his first book sold for $55. This one will be maybe $85 or more, you know. It's a big, fine book that he's writing. And when I called him, he says, "Funny you should call, Kirk." He says, "And I'm just doing a chapter on what you did at Republic." I says, "Yeah, I made about 6 or 8 pictures there." He says, "Oh, wait a minute. He says, "You didn't make 6 or 8. You made 16 pictures at Republic." You know, it's a funny thing about doing pictures like this. When you enjoy yourself, you go from one picture to another, one from another. And if I walked into a casting office without thinking about it, anybody should ask me, "What have you done, Kirk?" I'd probably hem and haw around. I'd say, "Well, let's see now, I did," and this is about how I do it. I couldn't remember one. I made about 80 of them, you know.
Yes, that's fantastic.
God almighty.
Well, Kirk, it looks like our time's just about to run out over here.
Oh, have I been here that long?
It only seems like seconds, but they're kind of giving us a wave over there. Partner, it's just been wonderful seeing you, and thank you for coming down.
Well, Sunset, it's so nice seeing you again, too. It really is. After all the things, well, of course, I was Superman, too. You know that.
Right,
you know,
right. A long time on Superman and the Superman book. And we're going to meet up with a bunch of the boys here a little bit later, and we're going to have another talk.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode on our Nostalgia Theater with Superman. Until we see you again, so long, goodbye, and God bless you.